first question for you guys is, how will you engage with the clubs and keep up with the concerns and complaints from students? Sabrina can start. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have already been getting messages from club leaders asking me what I plan to do to ensure the funds and how I will promote their clubs. So I think the best way for them to talk about their concerns would be to directly message us through either Instagram, or they can also message us through Myos. I don't know if there's an official Myo or Omnivox platform where we could use it. However, they can directly address us and list their concerns. I've been told by the DJing club that they're concerned about the funds and the attendance of participants in their online parties. So to ensure good communication, I would suggest making effort to, I would suggest making efforts to be open about it so that they can feel that they can come talk to us about whatever concerns that they have. Also, I will make sure that there will be a coordinated online effort to promote the clubs, that they have less members now due to the circumstances, so it did increase the worries.
Hello, is it possible to repeat the question again?
For sure, 1 second. So the question for you is, how will you engage with the clubs and keep up with concerns and complaints from students?
So I have my notes here. According to the bylaws, we do have bi-weekly or weekly meetings with the clubs as the club's coordinator. So I believe that person will be in charge in contacting the clubs and keeping being informed about situation at the clubs. So if they do have anything, I recommend they bring it up at the committee meeting, and then they'll be transferred later on to the council, and then we'll decide on that. For the budget, I believe each club has a set budget. They have to bring in a fully documented report at the beginning of the semester. However, I would recommend that all clubs be put on hold due to the COVID situation. If they are able to oblige with the COVID standards by Quebec and the federal government, then I would allow it. However, for me personally, I would put all clubs on hold, like no activities to be done. If they could abide by the health regulations, then the council should allow it. And as for the budgets, I believe every club should be allowed a certain amount equally across all clubs. If it's a recognized club, I believe there should be a base budget. And if they want to exceed that budget, then they should come to the committee meeting from the club's coordinator and I bring it up in council. And I relinquish the remainder of my time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And the second question for you guys is, what makes you the best candidate for this position? Do you have any related experience to the position you're running for? So Owen can answer this one first. Go ahead.
From my personal experience, my CV, as I should say, I helped organize many activities in catering. For my job, I do spreadsheets for various companies and miscellaneous tasks. And I'm currently in business admin, learning about the perks and details of, I'd say, business data analysis. I believe that would be help my input into the VCSA council. And as for management, I have managed teams before at my job. I hope that will help incorporate my management skills in the student council. I understand that everybody is working together for a common goal to help all students and be like, enjoy their student life at Vanier College. And that is the base, I believe, the base idea that I have. And I relinquish the remainder of my time.
All right, thank you. And Sabrina?
All right. Well, I do want to say that my passion in life isn't to be on the Vanier College Student Association. However, I, like everybody else here, I have much bigger dreams. And I do think that being part of this will actually help me gain experience. And I also have a lot of management and leadership experiences from past years. For example, in high school, I was part of a committee in which we organized events and separated funds. that we would receive from students from donations from selling goods, and we would actually redistribute that to organize parties like the Halloween Haunted House. We also had a Christmas party with DJs. It was actually pretty big for a high school event. Um, we also had Valentine's Day's event. So basically, I do have experience in hosting events for school. And
15 seconds left.
I'm sorry?
15 seconds.
Okay. And I also do have leadership skills, as I naturally take on a leader role in most of my projects. Lastly, I would like to say really quickly that this opportunity is an opportunity for me to get into school and contribute in whatever way I can to make this horrible year a little bit easier for everybody.
All right, thank you. And the third question for you guys is, what do you think you can contribute to the executive council?
I do have good like management skills. So whenever there would be conflict, I usually help my teams reach a consensus. I also like to take on everybody's opinions, so to make sure everybody in the committee has a say. I'm pretty good at that, so I guess I could allow everybody to have a voice and everybody can contribute to the decisions that are made.
I believe I could offer the council my objective viewpoint. I tend to not to be biased towards any partial parties. I like to offer that to the committee. I believe that is important to the committee because when it's council managing 7,000 students, we have to think about what's best, like the majority and the general welfare of each student. And when sometimes push comes to shove, we would like to tend to bring our hello, check, check. I just got a notification my internet cut out.
We can hear you, don't worry.
Okay. So when time push comes to shove, I do believe that people tend to advertise their own, not agendas, but their parties, that what they believe is correct. And if I could weigh in my non-biased viewpoint on that, I believe we could get the best possible outcome in all agendas. I relinquish the remainder of my time.
All right, thank you. And the fourth question is, what projects, both online and offline, are you hoping to achieve to get students more engaged with the VCSA? Owen, you can go ahead.
To engage students offline with VCSA, it is like very much impossible at this moment because the school is on strict lockdown, and I do not believe we should be running any activities at school. For online, I believe social media is a big presence. I believe community coordinators and internal affairs should be able to put a handle on that. And if we increase the exposure to social media sites, I don't have them, I believe most students will be able to be aware of VCSA and its current agenda. And I relinquish the remainder of my time.
All right, thank you, Owen. Sabrina?
Would it be possible to repeat the question, please?
For sure. So what projects, both online and offline, are you hoping to achieve to get students more engaged with the VCSA?
Okay, to begin, I do have in one of my priorities, I would like to make online learning easier for students. One of my top priorities is implementing regulations, as I've noticed that students have a lot of concerns. I've asked a few of my classmates what their concerns are, and they are all saying that they're a little bit too stressed due to online classes. So if we could regulate that and implement rules, I think it would really help everybody. Also, I would like to make school better for vulnerable students. So through online surveys, we could figure out what needs vulnerable students have. By vulnerable, I mean financially vulnerable. So I really want them to have the best experience, although the lockdown and also a lot of layoffs have made things difficult for them. And I also want to promote diversity within the Vani community. That would also be done online, as not a lot of things can be done at school at the moment, but we can promote, I'm sorry, we can promote all that through Instagram pages.
15 seconds left.
All right. I think that would be all. Oh, I would like to add, sorry, I would like to add that for the regulations, this can be done at school, as it also would include the teachers' participation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And the fifth question would be, what would be the most important thing for you to advocate for in your time in the office? Sabrina can go ahead.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, my dog was barking.
What would be the most important thing for you to advocate for in your time in office?
What would be the most important?
What's the most important thing for you to do, I guess?
To do? Okay. Like out of my top priorities, really what I would like to do in office is really make online learning easier for students, because it is a mess right now. As I have been able to observe in class, team activities are an issue. Some labs for certain classes have been included as assignments rather than in-class activities. Usually labs are done during class time, but to make up for it, sometimes teachers will give more assignments, but that is time that is outside of the classroom, and I find that it is a big issue, as some people have work and they have other things to do other than schoolwork. That takes up more time and everybody feels stressed and overwhelmed. So what I want to do is really implement regulations so we can limit the amount of assignments that have been increased during this semester.
Yes, I believe in my time in office, I would try to improve communication, more specifically between the departments of the school. I've talked to various department heads. I wish to bring, we know the school is an academic source itself, and I wish to bring all departments together, all students across, and exposure. That means communicating with different departments and working together on a common project. So as for example, I talked to the architectural department, and if COVID wasn't happening, I'd be talking with them to create a certain outside classroom on campus. And I'd be talking to environmental department, environmental sciences, to help improve the environmental life of Vanier, and animal health to make sure that all building requirements will be protecting all animals and their surrounding habitats. So my key point in office would be to improve communication through departments and work together as a team. As we all know, the community is stronger than a single person. And that's what I'll be focusing in my time in office. Thank you. And I relinquish the remainder of my time.
All right, thank you, Owen. And the last question is, what do you think the Executive Council can do to improve the implementation of the association's core values? Owen, you can go ahead.
I believe exposure. To the most of the people I talk to, not everybody, not every student and staff and member of faculty in Vanier understand what VCSA is. So I believe I'll be emphasizing on the community coordinator and finding exposure to the students and make sure they understand our core values. Because if bottom line is we're serving the students, and if they don't know what if they do not know what we are, then basically we're working for nothing. So I will try to get to the bottom line of our people, and I relinquish the remainder of my time.
All right, thank you. Sabrina?
To make sure that they're represented like through us, I really want the core values of the VCSA to represent what the student expect from us and also take to heart. So to make sure that the core values are implemented, I would like to promote that through posts. Not only that, but I would also like students to know really what the VCSA is about. I think during my first semester, I barely even knew that what the student council did. And I think it's really important for new students, especially since it's online, for them to know what we do and all the resources that are available to them, as they do have a voice through us. and we promote diversity and representation and a lot of other things. And I really want them to be aware of what they can acquire and the opportunities that they have to take part of this.
All right, so the first question for you guys is, what makes you guys the best candidate for this position? Do you have any related experience to the position you're running for? Abby can go ahead.
Okay, so according to my CV, I manage something called Shana Decors. That's like a nonprofit organization that I started with my sister. So managing, meaning it does not just mean like hiring people and telling them what to do and just managing everything. No, it's managing social media accounts, Facebook accounts, social media and emails. Like I have to answer all the emails from clients, and I have to like respond to any inquiries via social media. So I have to answer all of these questions, and that's just what I do for like a pastime. Now, last semester during Winter Wonderland and when VCSA was selling Rick and Morty like merch apparel, I don't know if you guys know, but Jeff and Sidra, like they were promoting the brand Rick and Morty, like their apparels, their hoodies, everything they were selling. I posted on my main Instagram, and
15 seconds.
my personal friends, like they help, like my personal followers, they all bought merch. So I'm really good at promoting, and I could answer anything anyone asks. Like I'm super friendly. I can answer anything.
So I'm I'm a communicator. So I although I have no like formal experience with managing, I have at my high school last year I was a senior debater and I was managing and mentoring the junior students. So I'm also for this position very creative, and it's not just with like the visual aspect, and but it's also with the messaging and the approaches and the kind of problem solving aspect of the position. And I'm also really organized. So last year I managed all the extracurriculars, a job, and volunteering, as well as normal like the academic student honors stuff. So I do know how to prioritize my time and get things done in a timely and efficient manner. And I believe this position is more than
15
like
seconds.
okay, then I'm done.
And the second question for you guys is, what do you think you can contribute to the executive council? Sarah, you can go ahead.
So I'm very good at reaching out to people and being social, and so I'm also good. Like I can, I'm I can I'm speaking and the kind of that. Sorry, did my internet just did it cut off?
Yeah, you got cut
sorry.
off.
Okay. And so yeah, I'm comfortable with public speaking, and with if there are any internal conflicts, I'm good at conflict resolution, and I can reach a consensus by that way. And I'm articulate. And I'm articulate and with reading and writing, so I think I could contribute to this role as communications coordinator.
So what I could do for the executive council is that like some people think communications coordinator is just like a small job. It's actually not. If there's a single problem that is reported to me, I have to tell the others, whether it's a small issue or is a big issue. I need to let the president, like everyone know during like the meetings or like during office hours. I have to tell them what's going on. And if I could solve the problem on my own with the email or an inquiry, I could, if I know the answer to their questions, I will answer. But if not, I have to discuss during the weekly VCSA meetings or just even talk to the president about it. And yeah, I think I could like bring in good ideas, new ways of promoting to the table.
All right, thank you. And the next question would be, what projects are you hoping to do both online and offline to engage the students with VCSA. Abby, you can go ahead.
So offline, there's not much, like there is much to do, like, because communications, it's mostly like social media nowadays. So I could, TikTok is really trending and I really like doing TikTok. So I could make new TikToks for VCSA, promoting something, passing on informations. I could create new like posts on Instagram. I could bring in new stuff on the table. And offline, I could, what to do. I could set up posters in the school. I could call in like little like small meetings with people, like the clubs. I could promote, like, you know, like offline as well. Like at school, I could just go around telling people like this is happening, you know, like give them pertinent informations.
So I believe the communications role is more than just promoting and like posting on social media. Because there's also like, especially because of COVID, it's also with connecting with other people and like bringing them together, whereas in clubs and stuff. So I think one of a project, if I were to be a communication coordinator, for example, I believe there isn't any an actual list of all the clubs at Vanier. So for a new student who's trying to look for for a list of stuff, I would make it more easier and more accessible to access all this information, and maybe having like a list or a repository of information to go back to. So that would be more offline, and also online, just for gathering the information of the students and getting more of a feel of their opinions, just to better represent them. Because yeah, like I mentioned before, because of COVID, people are having trouble connecting with each other and communicating. So we'd be able to bring them together and connecting more to the community and connecting them to information and like so they can meet each other.
Time is up.
For more communication.
All right. And the last question for you guys is, what do you think the Executive Council can do to improve the implementation of the association's core values? And Sarah, you can go ahead.
So I've kind of mentioned it before, because with all the information, like making a repository of information to make it more accessible for new students, or make it easier to map out. And so I think that would be the fundamental goal is amplifying the voices of the students. So I think by doing this and by transmitting and channeling them, we could create opportunities for the students to make their student life better, as well as connecting them to more information and making them and then letting them know that there's something happening, like connecting them to a club or to an event or even to the community. And also a fundamental value of the council is to empower them to make the student life as their Vanier student life as best as possible. So by doing these things, it would really improve. Thank you.
All right, Abby, go ahead.
So like she basically said everything. Like I would do like anything it takes to like organize more things and to like represent the students to the council, because we represent the students. We are what students are represented by. We have to bring what students want to the table, and communication is really like key. So if you don't tell what's going on during the meetings and what are we gonna do, there's no solution to anything the students want, and then there's gonna create like a huge fuss, and there's gonna be like a whole like miscommunication. So that is important. Organizing ideas, like she said, organizing is really important, because if you don't have anything organized, then the students will feel very confused, and it's gonna create a lot of hassles. So for me, bringing all the ideas of the students to the executive councils is a must, because like without students we wouldn't be here. And also it is really important to let everyone know what's going on, whether if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We're trying to put information on the table for them, and if they don't get that information, then there's going to be really severe consequences.
The first question for you is what makes you the best candidate for this position? Do you have any related experience to the position you're running for?
Yes, I do have a lot of experience, especially in high school. I was the president of my school for 3 years in a row. I was part of the committee for all the years that I've been in high school, and I was part of the champions of debates in 2016 of La Commission Scolaire de la Rivière du Nord. I have experience in my high school about sustainability, and also besides from my experience, I am somebody who's engaged, and I believe in education. And I believe that the more we include students as part of the school and hear their voice and represent them is a way to really improve education as well. And I have many plans prepared for this year, and with everything going on with COVID-19, I believe that it should not stop us from really improving our student life. And I really view it as a challenge more than something to stop me from really getting engaged and get things done. So yes, and also I'm part of the Vanier Model UN this year. And yeah, that's why I believe that I will be the best in this position, because I am prepared,
Hands up.
I'm engaged, and thank you.
All right, the next question is, what do you think you can contribute to the executive council? Go ahead.
I believe in working together. As I mentioned before, leadership is one of my traits. I like to communicate with everybody and really get a consensus on getting things done. I believe that we need to really communicate with each other and get other people's perspective and also the students' perspective. So basically, yes, communicating is important and really getting other people's opinion. And this is the way that we can move forward as a student council, and really part of as the VCSA, we need to really like open up to the students and let them know what's going on and really have them like speak. And this is my role. I really believe that I need to be the voice of the students that I represent, not only my opinion or the VCSA opinion.
Great, thank you. And what projects, both online and offline, are you hoping to achieve to get students more engaged with VCS?
My projects is about I have 3 fields of project. I have sustainability, equity, and also mental and physical health, which are also the values of a community coordinator. About sustainability, it's much more on campus. I'm planning on finishing the project about the trash can bins that are not done yet. And I think we need to finish that because it's a step forward to the school to become more sustainable and really be more carbon free. I have project for the gardens, and as I said before, COVID-19 is not going to stop me. There are policies that we can respect, hygiene policies, and it's not going to stop us from really moving forward. Online, of course, I've been present on social media. I really I like to inform people of what I'm about to do, get ideas, and get people involved.
15 seconds left.
And Zoom meeting as well. And I also have plans for raising awareness, hosting social events about equity. And this is part of my raising awareness plan that I've posted on Instagram.
Great, thank you. And your last question is, what do you think the Executive Council can do to improve the implementation of the associate association's core values?
Oh, sorry. Can you the internet stop? Can you repeat? Sorry.
For sure, I can repeat the question. What do you think the executive council can do to improve the implementation of the association's core values?
I believe in making plans. This is why I'm really prepared for this. We need to have meetings for the VCSA to really talk about plans that we need to implement, and also look at what's going on and like adapt it to what's going on right now with COVID-19 online meetings, and also in the campus as well. We should talk about what we can do to help students, and also use social media as a platform really to expose what we are about to do, get ideas from the students. And not only social media, Omnivox, we should use all these platforms to spread the information and really involve.
I think you got cut off for a second. Can you repeat the last part?
Yeah, sorry, I had a call. Sorry. Yes. What I was saying is that we need to use all platforms that are available to us on social media, on Zoom, on Omnivox, and also in the campus with respecting the policies of COVID-19 to really spread the information, get ideas to make plans for the school, and involve the students as well in the student life.
So your first question is, what makes you the best candidate for this position? And do you have any related experience to the position you're running for?
Well, personally, I've never been in a council at my high school, but since a young age, I've always been involved. I've played sports since the age of 4. So time management, I know how to take care of when I have practice, when this is due, when this is done. School has never been an issue for me. I've taken care of everything I have to. Family is very important in my life, so I've all these things just to show you that I can manage well. I started work at 14. I've had about 4 jobs, all reasons that I want to change, and I've been in different fields. I've been a cashier, I've been a hostess at a restaurant, so I'm very sociable. Communication is my number one. I've also been in the prom committee for last year at my high school, so I've helped a lot with organization. We had a meeting every week during lunchtime, extra work at home, and that never stopped me with my school, my sports events, my family, and my social gatherings with friends. So I think that I could bring an organized and structured environment to the VCSA, as well as an open door policy, since communication for me is very important.
All right, thank you. And what do you think you can contribute to the executive council?
So like I just finished saying, I feel like I'm not the only one as well. Communication, as we've all been saying, is very important to all of us, especially in a time of online learning. I feel like as my position of internal affairs coordinator, I would love to have an open policy, open door policy, or open screen, as we could say, in this time policy with all my coworkers as well as the classmates, so people could feel comfortable to come and see me. I want to be someone that people can trust. I'm a trustworthy person, very organized. So I'd love to bring an organized environment to the VCSA to make things a lot easier for the nominees, for the candidates, and for the classmates, our classmates, to be able to come and see us. Feel like an organized and structured environment, especially in a time of online learning, would be very important, because I know that in some of our classes, teachers use different methods from one teacher to the other. It's a different method. It's either Google Docs, or Zoom, or it's Omnivox, or we have Teams. And I feel like for the VCSA, it would be very important to create an organized and structured way of working in the workplace that would be good for us, for our classmates, for our peers, and for even teachers if anybody needs to communicate with us.
All right, thank you. And your last question would be, what do you think the executive council can do to improve the implementation of the association's core values?
Well, I feel like a certain bond must be created between these two parties, as we could say. I feel like the communication between the two must be very important. So I would love to create a 24-hour email response, or a max of 48 hours, to be able to get to the person that we need to, especially with online learning. I know I'm repeating myself, but I think it's very important that with this online learning, we need a structured environment. And so I'd love to open more communication and make sure that everyone understands and that the values are understood by everybody. So promoting on social media would be very important. As an internal affair coordinator, I would love to be able to send messages to all the coordinators, vice president, president, and treasurer, just to make sure that everyone is aware of everything. So I think that my role, that's what I would be doing. I would make sure that every message, every information is sent to everybody so that everyone is aware, so that awareness through everybody, there's no miscommunication, and that the values could be understood for what they truly are.
All right. So your first question would be, what makes you the best candidate for the position? Do you have any related experience to the position that you're running for?
I don't have any experience particularly related to the position that I'm running for. However, last semester I did volunteer with the VCSA, so I did kind of get an idea of what it's like being involved, not into the planning, because as volunteers you don't do the planning and all that, you just really help set up everything, you're the manual labor basically. So I do kind of understand a bit how much time you have to put in at least setting up something, and being part of the VCSA and organizing events and everything. So I think that is why I want to run for a position, because it's something that really interests me, and it's something that I wanted to try last semester, but I didn't know really about the elections until the winter semester. So I only did the by-elections, and those really didn't work out for me, so I volunteered.
Great, thank you. And the next question is, what do you think you can contribute to the executive council?
Okay, well, I think that I'm a very hardworking person. When I put my mind to something, I always get it done. I found, because of the volunteering and everything, I've gone back and forth messaging people of the VCSA and everything, and I have my fair share of issues with them. So I do know kind of what I want to fix when I get there, and definitely what I won't do. And I think that's something very important too, is learning from the past and making a better future.
All right, thank you. And the next question would be, what do you think the executive council can do to improve the implementation of the association's core values?
I don't really understand the question, sorry.
So I'll repeat it. What do you think the executive council can do to improve the implementation of the association's core value?
I think one of the association's core values is definitely helping students. I mean, that's kind of why it's there, And one issue that I found is that last semester, when I ran for the by-elections, I kept telling people, to sign my sheet, for the nomination and everything. And I found a lot of people just didn't know about the association. Like Owen said at the beginning, a lot of people really weren't aware of the association. So I think what the executive council can do is we can really come together to kind of spread awareness about the services that are offered, because I think that's something that not enough people know about, honestly. I didn't even know until I ran for this position that academic affairs, really offered help with students that were struggling and everything. So I think the executive council could really help just further, the services that are available.
All right, thank you. And your last question would be, how would you manage the executive council with a lack of personnel? Because, yeah.
I'm sorry, I really have trouble listening. What did you say?
Maybe my nicknames, I apologize for that. I'll repeat the question again. How would you manage the executive council with the lack of personnel in the council right now?
Well, this is something we mentioned before we started, like before the official debate started. We were all kind of discussing about, how when there aren't enough people in the association, how the roles get distributed, depending on who has availabilities and, also the seniority of the roles, So all these things, come into account when deciding who gets to do what position. Like I remember when I saw the interviews, because I wanted to learn more about my position that I was applying for. I saw the interview of the president, the association's president, and he was filling 3 roles at the same time, So it would definitely be a group discussion where we would all decide, who would do what and make sure that all positions would be filled adequately.
Your first question would be, what makes you the best candidate for this position? Do you have any related experience to the position you're running for?
Oh yeah, so I just want to say thank you for having me. And my experiences are, I was president of my high school, so I've been volunteering a lot outside of school as well. And while being high school president, I've been organizing events. I've been talking to different communities around my area. So I've been basically as president, gathering people around for events, and yes.
All right, thank you. And your next question will be, what do you think you can contribute to the executive council?
Okay, so I would be contributing to the executive council, a good environment of working where I'm always on time. I'm always serious when it comes to things that I'm always, sorry, I'm gonna just repeat myself. So I'm gonna provide to the executive council seriousness where I'm always reaching out to people as well. And sorry, I'm just really nervous right now.
All right. And what do you think the executive council can do to improve the implementation of the association's core values?
Oh yes, so what we can implement is a sense of togetherness where students are always aware on what's happening to the VCSA, and I'm willing to do that by spreading the word on social media with everyone. So it's really important that we all get along so we know what's happening around the school.
And how would you manage the executive council with the lack of personnel in the council right now?
So I do have a lot of friends, and I know a lot of people that are interested on volunteering or taking different tasks of the VCSA, and I'm willing to spread the message by social media. I'm willing to go out of my comfort zone to get people that to work with us, and as well as spreading the tasks with everyone who is here.
All right, thank you. And now we'll move on. Now we're done with all the positions. We can move on to questions and comments. Does anyone in the audience have questions for any candidates at all?
Yeah, can we ask the president and the communication coordinators to answer that last question that we didn't ask them at the beginning?
How would you manage the executive council with the lack of personnel in the council?
Yes. So as president, I think the president should assume the role as the leader of the organization. However, if there are too many vacant roles, I think we can all reach a consensus discussing and evaluating what skills we have among us so we can distribute the roles accordingly. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Owen, how would you manage the executive council with the lack of personnel?
Delegation. I believe all members on the council should be able enough to help delegate the task. Of course, the president and the vice president should take on the roles that people are not comfortable with and they're busy with their own tasks. But I believe delegation is the key to managing a successful council with lack of members. And I relinquish the remainder of my time.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. This is for Owen. You said that you want student life to be active. However, you will be, from what I understand, closing the clubs. And if so, how would student life be active as well? Why do you think that all clubs should be funded the same when they each have they each do different things?
I did not say each club should be funded the same. I said there should be a based budget for all clubs. So no matter the size of your club or the amount of people or members in your club, I believe there should be a base budget plan. So there should be an allowance, let's say about $500 for all clubs across the board. If your club does require more budget, then I'd be happy to talk it over. You'll submit it to the meetings, what you will have with the club coordinator, and ask for more. And then through the community executive council, we'll vote on that and then we'll agree on the budget plan. And for your first part of the question is how you, I understand I said closing doors on all clubs because of COVID, but I do encourage that all club members to find a creative way through online chat or careful social gatherings in person with masks and obeying all standards of Quebec and federal government policies regarding COVID, then I'm sure then we could allow it and you'll be safe as well in that part of that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
How would you manage the executive council with the lack of personnel? Abby, you can go ahead.
First, I would say we focus on, like, if I'm a communications coordinator, I focus on what I have to do. And then, of course, we always have to, like, share responsibilities and tasks, and delegation is really important, like Owen said. If there's, like, not enough personnel in the council, then we get to, like, divide the shares of responsibilities and keep doing the work by sharing with the other personnel.
I think the most important thing to do is to prioritize the tasks, and then by then, like, once you finish the prioritize, then you move on. Also, I think it's very important to have like a focused plan, and to have like for example, like a to-do list. So like I said, like priority and being very organized. So it would, and also like Owen said, delegation is a very important part of managing the vacancies in the subject. Also, it is also very important to have like flexible council members to be able to reach into, like, to do most things, like to do a lot of the tasks that are assigned to them. So, yes.
All right, thank you. And does everyone else have any questions for any candidate? Do any of the candidates have questions for the lecture committee? Can ask us now.
I did have one question. In the case that, let's say, two candidates are basically running for the same role and one of them doesn't get it, would it be possible for them to apply to another role, or is it shut down because the elections will be over?
That's something that would be decided with the VCSA, like the current VCSA. That's not something that we control, and we were wondering the same thing as well. So we will let you know as soon as we know, but it's not like maybe, but typically when you apply for a position, you go for the position. And then if you don't get it, then you're just not part of the VCSA. But because there are so little people running at the moment, maybe they'll allow it, but we'll let you guys know for sure.
Is of students asking how the voting is gonna work. I told him it was gonna be through Omnivox, and the dates that were given in the PDF that we got in the nomination package. But can you guys just explain more, like, how it's gonna work on Omnivox? Is it gonna be an email? Is it gonna be an attachment?
Oh, how the voting is gonna work is it's gonna be on Omnivox. It's gonna be a mandatory consultation. I don't know if you guys have received any, but the COVID thing that the college has been sending, it's like that. And then there will be options. There will be your name, the candidate's name, and then they'll go from there.
Okay, perfect. I have a quick question. I don't know if it's you that will answer, or it's actually the VCSA once the decision is made. there's a mandatory meeting every week for the VCSA. With the whole COVID situation, do we know if those meetings will be held on Zoom, like every other class and work, or will we have to go into the college?
I think that one, when you get the position, you're gonna decide that amongst yourself, because it depends on whether if you're comfortable in Teams or Zoom. It doesn't necessarily have to be by in person, because that's just unnecessary when you can do it online. So you're gonna have to decide it amongst yourself which one works for you better.
Okay, perfect.